what your learning target is and how the students know what the goal is for the day?
So when the students come into my room, I always have an agenda for the day up on the board with the date and some fun facts, and then what we're doing as well as what their goal is. And then within the slideshow that I'm going to use in my presentation, I also on the first page of that have their goal for today. And for this lesson, the goal is going to be able for the students to be able to listen with respect, interact in conversations, even if we have a different point of view, and apply our knowledge with our peers. And so all of that should be right on the slideshow as well as on the agenda for the day, so students should see it quite a few times.
That's awesome. Thank you. Having it visible for students is good, and talking
Try.
it through with them. And now we recently had a presentation last week, and I remember you were sharing some connection with that.
Right. So last week I had a lesson planned, and the students had a speaker come in and talk to them about suicide and drug use. And so I decided to capitalize on that and really talk to the students about making sure that answer questions that they had afterwards, as well as what it means to really hear what other people are saying, who we can talk to when we have problems, things like that. And it got me thinking. I spoke to the students about having somebody to speak to, which they could all identify someone. Now I needed to talk to them about the listening part of it, not just for themselves and in day-to-day conversation, but also in those big moments too, and how they can show that they're listening. So that's where this came from.
That's great. So how is what they're doing, the student task, aligned to the goal of the day?
So we're going to be doing, I'm going to show like a brief video, as well as a little funny one for some humor, just talking about how we listen. In my class, we talk a lot about therapeutic listening, being a part of the conversation, not planning ahead. But with the students that I work with, oftentimes they're not necessarily active participants in a conversation. They're more so waiting for their next chance to speak. And so as we go through the lesson for the day, we're going to talk about how we can show that we're listening, some of the things not to do, give an example, that's my humorous video, on what it looks like when we're not actually listening. And it'll be a lot of back and forth. I anticipate in my class we tend to have a lot of discussion as we're going through things, which that's how I enjoy doing it. I think it makes for the best learning experience in a social skills situation.
So when you think about what students are doing, what you're doing, the students the majority of the time, would they be listening, speaking, reading, writing?
I anticipate it's going to be a lot of listening, but then speaking as well. I'm going to give opportunities for open-ended questions. I always like to give the students a chance to offer up a response versus calling on them. Every once in a while I do call on students as well, just to spur the conversation. But I think it'll be a little bit of both. There'll also be some practice at the end where they will be speaking with each other about what they've learned from today and the ability to share some of what they thought of our presentation was about.
Awesome. So I'm hearing you say that your goal is to get them all interacting.
Definitely.
And like total participation.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you think about the level of taxonomy that the students will be using, where do you think that would fall for this lesson?
Well, nothing they should be hearing today is hopefully new to them. However, I anticipate it's going to be a lot of that analysis portion, kind of looking at how they're participating in conversations and how they can be active in them versus.
So in addition to the lesson today, where they're going to get a chance to practice some of those skills with peers, when we think about for each student individually, what would be the next steps after the lesson?
So I'm going to present the students with a challenge to take one of the things that they've learned in the lesson and then practice it for the next week. And then the week following this, I'm going to be coming back with the students and talking about, were you able to practice some of the things we talked about? Some parts will be more difficult, maintaining eye contact with others, nodding, taking your time, having those pauses in our conversation, even if times they feel uncomfortable. I'd really like to hear how the students felt actually trying to do those things. So we're gonna come back to that in the next week and talk about it.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate how there's that follow-up for each of them on their own to go try it, even if it's not, if they're not feeling completely comfortable with it. Using what I heard you just say was the success criteria, like eye contact, nodding, doing some of those cue sets that they have to go back and to look at.
And I think that's important for them to be able to then look at, okay, how did I do in actually trying to do this, making a concerted effort instead of just letting it flow. And so that's really what I want, is to give the students the chance to pause and think about how they're participating in their lives and in their conversations with their friends as well as everybody else. That we spend 45% of our day, every day, listening. But after only 48 hours, you did? You did know that?
Hey,
Impressive.
Hey, Johnson, is it your birthday?
You spend 80%
No, we're
of
just
your life
tomorrow.
sleeping.
Good to know. Well, 45% of your day is spent listening, and of that 45%, after 48 hours, we only remember 25% of what we heard. Here, anyway, circle back. This is why active listening is important. Okay, active listening, I've talked about therapeutic listening, same type of thing. Active listening helps us improve our relationships, helps us to learn more and be more successful with part of
At least it could be
listening.
worse.
It could be worse. You're right, it always could be. So, today, our goal for today is to be able to listen with respect, interact in conversations, even if we have a different point of view, because do any of us in this room have a different point of view from each other?
Yes.
Yes,
I would
we
like
do.
that.
We do not get along.
And apply this knowledge with our peers, our friends, people around us, right? But first, okay, last week we had our talk after we had the speakers, right?
Yep. We did not have the talk.
We had a talk
Oh.
after we had our speakers. In this talk, we talked about how to ask for help, right? We talked a little bit about listening to each other, hearing what we have to say, but more so, it was about how to ask for help, how to seek it out, and how to listen. Yesterday, we did the body language thing, right? On the card?
Yeah.
This one? Yep.
Didn't.
We talked about what does it look like when we're listening. Okay, so what was some of the things that it would look like if we're listening? Sitting up straight, eyes on
Eye
me.
contact.
Thank you. Eye contact. What else?
Listening.
Listen.
Responding to
Listening.
questions.
Ooh, I like that one. We didn't say that one, and I like
Raising your
that.
hand.
Raising your hand, yep. Those are things that show that you're a part of our conversation, but how do I know you're listening? Remember how we showed about like our body? So if I'm sitting here,
Confidence.
Body language.
confidence, body language.
That's why I
Exactly.
don't like
Yeah, I
when
guess-
the kids lay on the desk.
technically.
Right? Yeah, I don't, cause I can't see them, right? They're not a part of the conversation that I know. Exactly. So the power of not interrupting. Oh, hey, do I need this in this class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we all need to work
I think
on
we
that
did
this one.
yesterday.
We do.
Yes,
We all do
definitely
need
did
it.
Me included, specifically me.
It's all of us, Randy. You can't take the full blame. I won't let you do that. Alright.
Call me, guys.
Even adults can struggle with that still.
Actually, yes.
Absolutely.
Both
And
my parents did.
there's a part of interrupting that we're gonna talk about that might surprise you in the next part here. I think it's in the next. Some of this is what we were talking about before. staying present in the moment. How many of you have ever been with somebody who likes to just keep talking?
My brother, my brother, he
Yes.
talks
That's
nonstop.
what he said, right? So, the thing is, yes, sometimes that might happen. However, to show that we really are a part of a conversation, when we do things by keep asking questions for clarification, we keep that eye contact, we do things like that, it keeps us a part and an active part of the conversation, which means we are less likely to zone out if we are actually participating in the conversation. So that
Yes,
kind of
Brady.
brings me to this last one here. And I don't know about you all, but I am guilty of this, especially
Yeah.
as a parent sometimes. Yeah. We need to avoid planning what we're gonna say in response
Because it's
while
gonna
the other
change
person's
this.
talking.
Yeah, they're talking.
It could, but what else happens? If I'm thinking about what I'm going to say to you as you're
not
telling
listening to
me.
them, you're
Distract.
not
You get easily distracted that way.
Absolutely. And is that being an active participant in the
Absolutely
conversation?
not.
No.
No.
No, get canceled.
And as a side note, a lot of times what happens in a conversation is people just need to be heard. Damien.
What?
You're standing up. Okay.
I'm just putting myself away.
Okay, why don't you take a seat? People really just want to be heard. Okay, they're not always looking for advice. So planning our response, that might not be what they need. It's more so about being heard, being listened to. I mean, that can be the most comforting part of it. That's why they're opening up to speak to you. Yes, Braden?
So what you're saying is like maybe some people will want the advice back, but there will be some people that just want you to hear what they say, not exactly just give a response.
Embracing silence. This is another hard part for some of us.
Yeah.
When we talked about those natural pauses in conversation, silence is difficult for a lot of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, it is okay to pause and to think. So whether like Zach tells me something and I just sit and think about it for a minute, it doesn't mean I'm not responding to him. It means I'm putting thought into my response. What am I gonna say? What am I going to do? That's a natural part of a conversation. A lot of people are really uncomfortable with silence in a conversation. However, it's a very integral part of it. We need to learn how to read the silence.
Read the
Okay.
room.
Read the room. Oh, we've been working on that, haven't we?
Yeah.
So silence can give a chance for both the person speaking and the person listening to think about what's happening. Yes, Harlan?